Kia ora team, and welcome to this short video on how to draw a table for your results in your investigations you'll do in class. So, firstly, quickly pause the video and give this example a quick read. Awesome. Alright, before we look into this example specifically, I want to just show you the broad sort of structure that you should be using for every table that you do. So the table is sort of in three sections, as you can see here, and the first one is always going to be whatever the independent variable is for your investigation. When you're writing that independent variable, you must include the units, and it must be as specific as you can make it so that it is clear to your reader what that was in the experiment. Now the middle part of the table, or the guts of the table, will be what you're measuring. So that is, you've guessed it, your dependent variable. Again, you need to include your units and be as specific as possible to make it as clear to the reader what you were measuring. And finally, you need to do a bit of processing of that data to start seeing a pattern and maybe make it easier to draw a graph. It's our next video, and that is the average of your dependent variable in the last column. And again, you must ensure you include your units. So, going back to this example, how do we put all of this information into the table? Well, you can see the independent variable in this experiment was the number of squeezes per minute that changed. So obviously we've got the 30 up here, and it jumps down to 50 there, and then we've got 90. 70 and 110. So they would all go in this column, and we would call it the rate of ball squeezes, and you can see my units there, per minute. So you'd fill in that column with 30, 50, and so on. What we're measuring, however, is not the number of squeezes, but the time it takes to complete those, and therefore the muscle fatigue. So our dependent variable on what we're measuring is the time taken for our arm to fatigue. And that is going to be in seconds. Now you might be saying, Mr. Lloyd, the top lot of data up here is in minutes and seconds. You'd be right in thinking that. However, you need to be consistent, so you need to pick one or the other. Now the majority of these results are in seconds, so I would recommend you just take whichever's the majority. Seconds will be more specific to this experiment, so seconds is the number I would use. They're also easier to average than trying to work out minutes. So you put all of your measured results in here, so all of the time in seconds for each attempt. Now you can see I've divided this middle up into three columns because each independent variable was tested 3 times. That's good science. The minimum we want to do is 3 to get accurate results. If you can do more, that's even better. And finally, we've got the average column, and that is going to be the average time taken for the muscle to fatigue. And again, that is going to be in the same units as your dependent variable. Now, top tip, when you're doing your averaging, you want to just look for any results that look a bit unusual. Now, if we were to convert that top the first independent variable, 30 squeezes per minute, into seconds, you would see that you get 135, 104, and 103. Now that 135 is significantly longer than the other two, and that's what we call an outlier. When you're doing your average, you can omit any outliers, and if you had time to go back and get some more results, you would, but you need to make sure you mention that in your write-up. So there you have it. 3 main areas of a table. The independent variable first, and listing all of those in that first column. The guts of your table is going to be all the things you were measuring, so your dependent variables. And finally, you need to do a little bit of processing in the final column. Make sure you remember your units and to be as specific as possible to make this table as clear to the reader about what you were doing in your investigation. As always, come and see me in class if you have any questions or want me to clarify anything. I'll catch you there.